Hey guys, Raven here reporting for Kids First. It's the end of senior year, and Peter Parker is busy saving the streets of New York while also managing to graduate on time. Life seems to be working out pretty well for him until all of a sudden fate throws a series of misfortune his way. He is forced to distance himself from the love of his life in order to protect her. He finds some mysterious clues leading towards his parents' past. An old friend of his is back in town and is causing him quite a bit of trouble, and to top it all off, there's a new supervillain on the streets that is about to change his life forever. I love this fast-paced, action-packed, and emotional film. I'm quite impressed with the CGI, especially since so much of the film consists of special effects. This film is electric, quite literally, and the way they captured the vivid blue electrical currents shot off by Electro is very beautiful. Not only are the effects spot on, but the camera work is very well done. The use of lighting, camera angle, and especially camera placement is executed strikingly. I really love the direction that cinematographer Daniel Mindel went with this project, and seeing it in IMAX makes it even better. Another aspect of this film that absolutely blows me away is the soundtrack and the use of music mixed in with the sound effects. It's really interesting to see and hear the use of music during fight sequences and explosions to aid the sound effects in a really big way. I am really pleased with how this series of Marvel's Spider-Man franchise is working out so far. I am a devoted fan of the Spider-Man trilogies that stole the hearts of comic book fans everywhere in the early 2000s, and it will always have a place in my heart and on my DVD shelf. However, I'm really enjoying the modern take on this film. There are so many Spider-Man comics, so many stories, and so many villains for our favorite Spider-Guy to take on. So I think it's a really wise decision that director Mark Webb is taking on stories and creating films that haven't yet been shown in major motion pictures. Obviously, the film industry, as well as technology, has advanced quite a bit in the past decade, so it is inevitable that these newer amazing Spider-Man films are going to be a bit flashier than the older ones. Because of the added visual appeal, the attractive leading roles, and the witty comical phrases peppered throughout the film, I feel like The Amazing Spider-Man is more geared towards teens than I have seen in the previous series. It's very difficult for me to pick just one favorite character out of this film, so I will just cover my top three. Obviously, I have to add Andrew Garfield's character, Spider-Man, aka Peter Parker, to the list because the film is named after him. I really enjoy Andrew Garfield's take on this character because he gives him a very charismatic personality and throws in a lot of wit and charm and funny phrases, making the film very comical even though it touches on some heavy subjects and there is some violence peppered throughout the film. I was very impressed with Jamie Foxx in this film. He plays the focal supervillain Electro, also known as Max Dillon, and I have a great appreciation for Electro as a supervillain because he's not just some evil guy that is lashing out for no reason. He's a real human with real feelings who's just been hurt over and over again throughout his life. He was walked all over one too many times, and when given the chance to get back at the world, he took it. All he wanted was for someone to need him and value all he had to offer. But instead he was treated terribly and he lashed out because of that. It's just a reminder to be kind to everyone around you, even though they may seem insignificant to you at the time. Last but most definitely not least on my list of favorites in this film is Harry Osborn, played by Dane DeHaan. I am a huge fan of his and I love every performance he's done in every film he's been in. His take on this character is a bit more dark and twisted from the very beginning, as opposed to Franco's spin on the character. I love both versions of this millionaire bad boy equally, however it is really cool to see Harry portrayed in a more destructive light from the beginning of the film. The only issue I have with Harry Osborn is that I feel like him and Peter's relationship wasn't granted enough time in this film. They went from not seeing each other in 8 years to all of a sudden being best friends, and then their entire dynamic changed in an instant. And I would have liked to see their relationship develop a little bit more, so that when Harry finally did turn on Peter, it had a bit more of an emotional impact on the audience. This film is rated PG-13, however, I plan on taking my 9-year-old brother to the film. Here's a few things to take into consideration if you're thinking about taking a younger child to the film. Have they seen other Marvel or superhero films in general? Because in my opinion, this film has just about as much violence as any other film in this genre, and there wasn't any profanity from what I picked up. The only thing that is making me question my decision to bring my brother to the film slightly is the emotional aspect. Although this film is about a spider kid fighting a giant electric monster, which seems pretty far-fetched to just about everyone, there is one aspect of this film that stays very realistic. It is that humans are not indestructible, and that good guys don't always make it to the end of the film. Overall, I give The Amazing Spider-Man 5 out of 5 stars, so be sure to check it out when it swings into theaters on May 2nd. See ya!